the culture of our company is hiring the right people to help us do those jobs, where we can all take a bite out of it and work as a team to successfully get more projects ahead of us and take care of the ones we have. I mean, we at R&R try to preach on culture a lot. We think that's very important. We try not to overwork our guys too much. We believe that everybody has a personal life and family matters. And so we're always looking out for each other when somebody's got to go to a dance recital or they have a baby or an appointment, just teamwork and culture. And we really try to elaborate on that because it just makes all our lives easier if we're all happy when we go to work and enjoy being there.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Builder's Bible. I'm joined by Bill Siebrasse. He is one of the owners of R&R Taylor Construction in Montana. And you correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, but I believe over 30 million in gross sales last year, which is awesome. Bill, thanks so much for joining us on the podcast.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you, Andrew.
All right, I think we got our technical issues solved. So Bill is actually using Starlink, which is cool. So, but man, tell us a little bit who you are and how you got to where we are today.
Sure. I am a part owner of R&R Taylor Construction. Grew up in Havre, Montana, which is north central. I went to school for architecture actually at MSU in Bozeman and graduated 2011. How I got into construction, kind of both worlds here. So architecture and construction. I graduated at the end of the recession in 2011, and I could not find a job with an architectural firm. Nobody was hiring. Thought the next best thing would be construction. So I signed up with R&R Taylor as a carpenter. And a few years later, I did get a gig at Think One Architects in construction management. So they actually did design and build. And I played on both sides there. I learned how to draw, learned how to write specs. And then I also was a carpenter in the field at Yellowstone National Park. Then later on, R&R Taylor were looking for a project manager to come on board with potential to buy in. They also had a project with a client that they wanted to do a design build. One of the main reasons they asked me to come over. So I signed back up with R&R Taylor. And about 8 years later, one of the owners. So kind of long story short there.
Well, that's a great success story, I think. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there that are swinging a hammer or pouring concrete, wondering if they could have a bigger role one day. And there's reminds me of the Drake song, started from the bottom, now we're here. Like you did it. You're at the top of the food chain there. So project management, that's interesting. We talk a lot about that on the podcast. And it seems to be a pain point for construction guys in general, like managing projects, getting the skilled labor, the vendors showing up at the right times. So like, what do you feel like you have a unique, angle on it that you've solved a problem? How do you do your project management? Like, what tools do you use?
Sure. Yes, broad question. I mean, project manager, they start from the initiation of the clients and sometimes even the initial design, like schematic design, all the way through the project to the end, through construction documents, and then going on to build the thing. As far as tools, such, everybody skins the cat differently, I guess, as they say. We're trying to keep up with technology. I think if you're not embracing technology through construction, you're not advancing. I mean, it's impacting all of us. Few of the tools we use, just software. We used to not meet virtually. It used to be a handshake and in the same conference room together, more so. And now the world's just going a bit more virtual, AI, all that stuff. Some software that's been helpful for us, I'd say, is like Procore, which is project management software. It's essentially a web-based program where we can upload all our jobs online. We can track everything wherever we're at in the world. We use it for everything to update the drawings, the specs, daily logs, photos, submittals, which is a huge part of our jobs, and just tracking the job and its progress, asking questions, keeping the paper trail alive for everybody to sign in and follow along with us. So that's been a new tool we started using in 2020. And I think a lot of GCs are picking up on that and using some sort of web-based program to manage their stuff nowadays. So,
well, what is your unique system besides using Procore? Like, I think any construction guy out there, doing multiple projects at once, I think it keeps them up at night to some extent. Like, what, if anything, has been your guys' kind of unique way to skin the cat? Is there some secret sauce that you have at R&R that maybe another guy might benefit from? Not like the super secret sauce, like don't give away the recipe, but like, is there something unique about the way you guys do your project management in general?
Sure. Good question. Yeah, you hear it all the time. People are working all day long. They're the owner of their business. When they come from home, from work, they're putting estimates together, they're sending out bills. I just say, in general, like the culture of our company is hiring the right people to help us do those jobs, where we can all take a bite out of it and work as a team to successfully get more projects ahead of us and take care of the ones we have. I mean, we at R&R try to preach on culture a lot. We think that's very important. We try not to overwork our guys too much. We believe that everybody has a personal life and family matters. And so we're always looking out for each other when somebody's got to go to a dance recital or they have a baby or an appointment, just teamwork and culture. And we really try to elaborate on that because it just makes all our lives easier if we're all happy when we go to work and enjoy being there.
Yeah, that's great. And it's so simple too. It's create a culture, hire A players, and do things with excellence. I mean, it's underspoken, but it's important, right?
For sure.
Okay, let's talk about pain points. Like what every business owner, no matter where they're at in their company, there's some sort of sticking point. So you're at this kind of $30 million mark now. Where are you trying to go, and like what kind of sticking points do you guys have that are kind of keeping you up at night, or problems you're trying to solve?
Sure. Something comes to mind with that is just where we're located in Bozeman. It's a beautiful spot in Montana. There's mountains, there's rivers, there's ski hills. The interstate comes right through. It's becoming a very popular destination for people to move. Real estate is through the roof there. It's higher than the national average by, I want to say, 20%. I think the medium home range in Bozeman is like 750,000 for a home. And so being able to support our employees and pay them enough to live there, just to be there and help us out, is a huge pain point for us. It's just hiring the talent we need. And at the same time, staying competitive with bids, creating an affordable product for the owner is challenging. Just hiring people really has been the biggest one for us since COVID happened. So that's been
what
really
in
tough
particular,
for us.
Bill, out of curiosity, and not to stop you, but is it hiring skilled labor, or is it hiring support staff or estimators? Like, what are we talking about here? Is it all of the above?
I think it's a bit of all of the above. I mean, the way our industry is set up is so we have some admin support, which would be like your project managers, your project engineers, and then all the gals, we call them the gals up front that run all the billing, AP, AR stuff to get paid. And then we have our carpenters and our laborers in the field and our superintendents. And so carpenters and laborers has been really tough because they're usually lower on the pay scale as far as talent. Laborers especially, they're just usually younger guys that don't have a lot of experience coming in. And then moving up into superintendents and such, it's just there's a lot of construction happening. For one, it's hard to afford to live there, and so it's a competitive market. And so a lot of guys are moving from construction company to construction company. Where's the grass greener on the other side, I guess? And it's just there's not enough blue collar workers when you have a lot of people moving that have money that don't necessarily have to work or not. Not to stereotype, but that's just kind of how Bozeman is. And so, I mean, the restaurants are finding that challenging as well. Everybody that needs support within their business to run it is struggling in Bozeman to do so.
Yeah. Well, hey man, remind me to double click on this when we come back to it. But one of my cheat codes, and you might think I'm crazy, like a lot of people do, but we do virtual assistant staffing overseas, and man, allow me to plug my own business for a hot second, but the labor that we get from Philippines and places like it, second to none. So I want to double click on that after the podcast is over. We could talk more about that. I'm trying to think, let's talk about technology for a second. So artificial intelligence, it's hard to think of something like that affecting a type of industry that's so physical, right? ChatGPT can't build the buildings for you, but how are you guys using it, or where do you feel like you could be using it that you're not?
Sure. We just started playing with ChatGPT or Copilot, whatever platform you want to use here in the last couple of years. We're just trying to figure out how that can be beneficial to us. Where I personally found it useful is as simple as crafting an email, right? I mean, we all know what we need to say, but to say it professionally or with a certain tone that's, sounds good and gets the point across, that's been helpful. Another big thing is in our industry, it's called an alternative delivery method versus a hard bid. People are requesting RFQs, which is request for qualifications. And so I use AI a lot to help me craft what I'm, all the work we've done and what our company's about to help us generate a submittal, if you will, for an RFQ process. That's applying for a job. You essentially put a package together for the owner saying what my company is about, what we believe in, how we're going to get the job done, how our approach to that project. And then we go in for an interview and actually sit down in front of them. But that kind of helps me get a lot of the information out there. So I use it a lot in that regard. One other thing that we have messed with too much is we could put an entire specifications book into it, upload the document, ask it when's the due date, is there liquidated damages or any information we're trying to pull out of there to gain, without hunting and searching for that information. We've also dabbled a little, and I'd like to say this is something that's going to come more, is plan reading. Every architect draws plans differently, but we're just getting to the point where we're actually uploading documents and plans in there that help us pull information from those plan sets or specs and help us put our estimates together to get that project out for a bid.
Yeah. Where do you feel like you could be using it that you're not? So it sounds like you're scratching the surface on a couple tools. Is there any area of your business where you're like, man, I know it could help me here, but we're not really leveraging it the way we should?
Tough question. I don't really know. Otherwise I'd be doing it already. I think we're all just kind of learning what the capabilities are of it.
Yeah.
Every project's unique. Every project's drawn differently by a different person. And so it's just a tough one to navigate, really. Why? Do you have some input on that?
Well, no, I mean, so, I told you a little bit of my story. I don't know my ass from my elbow when it comes to construction. I'm a financial advisor by
Mhm.
trade. And so the way that I stumbled into this is I'm a part of all these Christian business owner networks. And I was thinking in my mind, like, what ties all these guys together? And half of them are building something. The guys that I know from these Rise Up Kings and these Christian business owner networks, either they're building houses, they're building decks, they're building commercial, they're pouring concrete, they're doing something that's they're moving dirt, like they're doing something to support guys like you. Um, and I'm like, well, what keeps these guys up at night? And it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, it seems to me, and we've talked about all three of these to some extent: project management, hiring and maintaining skilled labor, and estimation. And then it's interesting for a lot of home builders, Bill. I see marketing and bookkeeping is two that I haven't talked to a single home builder that has a funnel, which blows my mind. Like even guys doing $100 million in custom homes, there's no scalable, repeatable way to get clients in the door.
Mhm.
But the one that really sticks out to me is estimation. My understanding of it, and I'm a noob when it comes to this, is it's kind of tedious, it's kind of repetitive. Everybody has their own proprietary way of doing it. But to some extent, if you have a data set on your last 10 or 15 bids or last 20 bids, and you've already pre-programmed how much the nails and the steel and the lumber and all the things are, you should be able to use and leverage AI in some way, shape, or form to create a proposal. So what we've been doing, just as an aside, is we've been pairing that with an estimator from another country to leverage like Procore or Builder Trend or whatever the tool is that the guy's using to really like dial in on those estimation things. But I'm just curious, what are you guys doing for estimation? Like, do you have a spreadsheet or how do you guys do when you estimate a
Sure.
project?
Yeah, we are advancing in that regard too. We've tried a few different estimation takeoff softwares. I mean, is back is just printing the plans and using a scale on your desk is how I learned. Then Bluebeam came along, which is just a PDF reader that you can scale dimensions and do takeoffs, and it'll give you the wall height, the square area of the wall. You can build assemblies. We've gone to Stack, which is an awesome platform as well. But we found it to not suit a general contractor as much. It's more for like a tradesman, like a sheetrock or a wall framer or a cider. And now a new thing, and I haven't even opened it to use it yet, is eTakeoff, which is tied to our estimating software. We use Sage Estimating, and it's essentially a glorified spreadsheet, if you will. It has a database that uploads all the assemblies within the different divisions of construction. And then that links to eTakeoff, so I can go upload the plans, go into the plans. I can create an assembly or say a concrete footer or foundation. And I could draw a line across it, and then that information will tie and patch into my estimate. So that is a new thing that we're trying to play with and use. Yeah, estimating stuff, man. It really is like maybe a trust thing, when other people are doing our estimates. I mean, there is means and methods to what things cost, but we've been a little gun shy with that because of the fluctuating markets in construction and materials. It's just, we believe we eat what we kill. And so it's hard for us to let that aspect go, because that's where you make your money is, it all starts with estimating. And if you don't estimate it correctly, that's a huge risk to the contractor. And we're just really onto that tight. I mean, that's a tough one to let somebody else do that work for you without, and you also get to study,
I hear you. Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you also really get to study the plans as you estimate. You learn how to build that building in your head as you're putting your estimate together. And so that's a tough one, especially for general contractors, where we have all these different components coming in. It's a lot easier for like I said, like a cider or sheetrock or a wall framer. They have a lot less components that go into that estimate.
Yeah. I hear, yeah, I've talked to a lot of construction guys, and it's interesting. They all have the it's like I get 1,000 emails, someone offering to do my takeoffs for me, and it's just never exactly how I want it to be done. So I've been like, okay, I hear that, but I think I can have one inside your business, but virtually for a fraction of the price. So yeah. Okay. Last question. The floor is yours. What's something you're really passionate about? Something you want to talk about that we haven't talked about? It could be something personal. It could be something related to business, family, faith, you name it.
Sure. I'm just gonna keep it to business. Like our business is always it's been cool. We've been in the Taylor name has been in the Bozeman Valley since 1948. We've gone through 4 different name changes throughout the year. We're at R&R Taylor right now. There's 3 of us. We bought out one of the R's, and now we're going to buy out the other R here soon. We've always been localized to the Bozeman region, and these last few years, and I'm young in our business right now. I have plenty of years to be working. Is growth and expansion for R&R Taylor. I'd like to just see what we can do, adding more people, getting more help, building the team bigger, and then casting the net further. And for right now, I mentioned earlier, I moved over to Billings. I'm trying to tap into the Billings market over here, trying to meet architects and developers and realtors and trying to just say, hey, we're here, we can help. We have an awesome support team, and we don't do anything differently than the other GCs would as far as getting your building built. We do a good job. So right now, immediately, my goals is just grow the company throughout Montana, and maybe someday that will grow bigger. But just trying to grow and get better, man. I mean, that's what we're all about. It's all learning and trying to advance. We're problem solvers. We come across them every day, but at the end of the day, we got to finish the build. Ultimately, that's what we do. We've never not finished when we started.
Amen. Bill, if people want to learn more about who you are and what you do, where can they go?
They can visit our website. It's R&R Taylor, CONST.com. CONST, short for construction, general contractors in Bozeman and now in Billings. You'll be seeing a lot more of that on our website. And I'd be happy to help anybody else that, is in the industry or looking for advice, and or if anybody had any advice for me too. I love feedback.
I love that, man. Thank you for saying that. That's a cool way to end the podcast. I mean, that's my goal, is at the end of the day, like, I want every construction guy that listens to this to get better. And it's interesting, you're probably my 2nd or 3rd guest in a matter of weeks who is in a more remote place, and the skilled labor thing keeps coming up. So it's an interesting conversation to keep having. But yeah, Bill, thanks so much for joining us on the podcast.
Yeah, you bet, Andrew. Thank you.